Hey there, guys. It's been quite a long time since we've covered something from Skid Row. And at least in my book, I want to have a minimum of these three songs under my belt on this channel. Those are Youth Gone Wild, we already did that. 18 and Life, we already did that, and now it's time for I Remember You. It's like a trio of cult classic songs. Obviously, there are a lot more than these, but at least I want these three to be a part of the channel, at least for now. I'm absolutely sure I'll go into a lot more songs from them in the future. But let's go straight into the solo. So, by the way, if you want to have like the lesson from the master himself, Scotty Hill, he already has a channel on YouTube where he posted the lesson for this and also for 18 and Life. However, since you're by now probably thinking, well, then why on earth would you do a lesson if he already did it? Well, I'm only doing it because of one particular reason, and this actually happens with a lot of artists who wrote famous pieces, songs, solos, and you see that throughout the years, probably for a good reason, they got bored of playing those things the same way as they did on the record. And I think without them even realizing, they kind of changed it a bit throughout the years. And that's kind of like the only reason why I wanted to cover this, because although he teaches you like 95% all of the right things, there's like a couple of things that he now does that were not present on the record, and vice versa. There was something else on the record which he now changed. So it's not a biggie. Obviously, like I said, all artists do this. It's understandable. Probably I would do the same thing after playing the same freaking song for 30 plus years. But I just wanted to give you my 2 cents on those things. So, enough blabber, let's go straight into it. The whole thing starts with a sort of, it's, if you watch some of my other videos, I already talked about this. You've got like the famous pick scrapes, but you also have like fake scrapes, which are actually slap and slides, the way I like to call them. It's right. So the beginning of this solo is actually a slap and slide part that starts on the 19th fret. So it's this one, and then you immediately go into the following lick. It's crossing several octaves, and it's very, very tasty. So it's the following. Sorry, I can seem to play it slow again. So it's just it's just this very nice series of actually hammer-ons and pull-offs. Nothing more, right? So as soon as you end with this, you end on the following I should say sound, because on this channel we don't give notes and tabs and crap like that, because my motto is always play with your ear. Not literally, don't start doing this. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. So as soon as you reach the top of this lick, with a sort of pinch harmonic, and you'll see that usually with Skid Row they have so many nuances, like small squeals, medium, big, juicy harmonics and stuff like that. I'll try to give you some pointers here and there, but if you really want to get it down the way it is, you just have to listen to the record. Otherwise, it would be a 1-hour lesson on every freaking nuance, and that's just, asinine if you ask me. So again, we end up here. Then you have a very cool bend, and the guys in Skid Row do this a lot, especially Scotty. Also Dave does this, but this is like Scotty's trademark. He sort of has these bends with the middle finger, which is something that I like, because it's very unorthodox for a guitar player. You're usually bending with your third finger. I also do it with the fourth, but he does it with the second, which again I also do, but just because I'm a maniac or weirdo. But it's refreshing to see that he does it the same. So it's and after this you begin a cascading lick downwards, which is again something I so like. It's I don't know, it's very, very tasty, very melodic, very power ballad-ish, if you will. So it's basically what I like to do is I like to bar these three strings, the B, G, and D strings, but you can bar just two of them and then slightly slide over as you're descending, or you can just do it very cleanly on one string, then the other string, and then the other string. It's up to you. For me, I just like to do like a banana bar, and I call it a banana bar because it's like using this whole phalange to sort of bend my finger this way. So I do this bar right here, and then I start with I just had to remember it because again I suck at playing slow. Well, I suck in general, but you get the idea. Fuck's sake. Yeah, as you can see, I always need to speed it up a bit just to remember, which is very frustrating, also for you. So, we have the following pattern. It's a pedal point going downwards, and you always return to this sound. So it's so once again, the pedal point revolves around this, and after you have the first hammer on, then you basically descend with while alternating with that tone inside the pedal, right? So and here comes something that in his lesson Scotty said that a lot of people are playing it wrong because probably they don't hear it because probably it doesn't come through the mix. I've always heard it, and that's not to say that I'm hypersensitive to whatever. It's just a normal thing for me. So I guess he probably saw a bunch of covers from a lot of people that are playing with tabs. So this is not a plug for saying that I'm good or whatever, because I am not. It's just a reminder that you should probably not play using tabs, because you tend to overlook things that are otherwise very blatant, like in your face, or I should say in your ear, right? So don't make the mistake to look at online tabs, because if they don't give you a certain part, you'll just skip over it, and then like in this case, the author himself will look at your cover. Hopefully you'll have the honor of him watching your cover, and he'll be like, what the fuck, are you deaf? And actually you're not deaf, you're just lazy. So do yourself a favor, and in case your hero will ever watch your cover, don't learn it by tab, learn it at least by ear. You have higher chances of getting it right, in my opinion. But back to the lesson. After reaching this point, you go into... It's up to you how you wish to bend it and how many times you want to shake that whole vibrato. So it's just... In the original, I think he kind of holds it. But I kind of like to just release it and slide over just before going into the very next section. So... whatever version you prefer. That's my choice, the one that I just told you about. So, the very next section is a tricky one. It took me quite a lot to be able to, get it right. Well, even now I'm sort of getting it right and fucking it up, getting it right again. But at least I have a higher rate of getting it right than in the beginning. Thing is, it's kind of string skipped, although it's not string skipped per se, but it has that feel to it. It's very jumpy. It jumps all over the place. So usually we're accustomed to playing things very boxed in, and this kind of takes you all over the place, which is something that I really like, and speaks for the creativity of the guys in Skid Row, right? So here it is. Feel free to down pick it if it's easier, or alternate pick it, and feel free, if you're alternate picking it, to choose whether or not you want to do an inside picking pattern or an outside picking pattern. If you don't know what I'm talking about, when you're going from one string to the other, you can either pick on the outside, which means brush it from the outside in, So this would be outside, or brush it inside, which means from in outwards. So when you're kind of staying inside in between the strings and you're just hitting them like hitting your head, banging your head against the walls, that's called inside picking as a technique, if you will. The opposite, when you're kind of like slapping it from both sides, that's outside. Okay, so with that out of the way, feel free to experiment, and here are the actual notes of the lick. This is the first part. Just make sure you master this. some medium palm mute. Not super aggressive to choke the note, but not open as well. So it's not like this, it's not like this, it's like this. Okay, so after this, which by the way can be played in a variety of ways since it's so stretched, but this is the official way, so I recommend you do it this way. After landing here, I'm using my pinky, because I'm a fucking weirdo and I always play with my pinky, just as much as I play with the other four fingers. You do the following. You put your pinky right here on the 7th fret of the G string. I said I won't be naming things, but every now and then it makes it easier for you to get it. So I'm putting it here on the 7th fret, of the G string, and I'm sliding it towards the 9th fret. Then with my ring finger, I go on the 8th fret of the B string, and then with my pinky again, I go on the 9th fret of the E string, and I slide it all the way till the 15th position. So the whole thing is yeah, careful not to overslide or underslide it. Right, so once you're here, what Scotty does is something very cool. He kind of employs a sudden fret wrap made out of flesh and bone, which is his own finger. So he comes right here and he gently mutes the strings while he does this pentatonic downwards run. Right? But if you have good enough muting, probably you can get away with it just playing it depending on how you do it, right? It's the good old pentatonic. In the key of E minor, obviously. So you have this run right here, with or without the muting right here, which you can see adds quite a lot of noise reduction, if you ask me, and Scotty obviously, since he was the first one to do it on the record. And after you finish with this, only like halfway through the pentatonic, you don't go all the way down. You stop on the in the middle right here. You have this lick that follows, right? So it's just careful not to overbend like I'm doing right now, because my brain's fried already. And at the very end you have kind of like the open G, but I prefer to do like a pinch harmonic, and I think Scotty does some 3 point whatever 16 16th of a fret, you know, in terms of distance, 3.2, like just a little bit over to the right of the 3rd fret. And by the way, this solo, especially towards the end, will have a lot of weird harmonics. If you want like an in-depth lesson on all of the interesting places on the guitar where you can find all of the different harmonics, like the octaves, several degrees of the octaves, the major thirds, the perfect fifths, and a bunch more you know, locations and tricks like these, be sure to check the description down below. I haven't done the lesson yet, it's on my list, but depending on when exactly you're watching this video, just make sure to go down into the description below and see if I have updated the link for that lesson. Right, so again. You can choose different flavors. I even sometimes try to capture a little bit of the B string just to give it a little bit of dissonance. Like that. So yeah, after this, whole thing with at the end, you just go 1 octave higher from, and you go into, so it's, and be sure to play it cleaner than how I'm playing it right now. And then back to the same old place, back to the lower octave, where you have a very tricky, again, very tricky little thing going on. So sorry. Scotty Hill in his lesson shows you the pattern as being the following. I'll show it to you as well, but then I'll need to give you a little bit of pointers on how exactly to play it, because you'll find it very hard to actually execute. So basically you have so after but if you take a listen to the original, you'll see that the actual time frame, the window, the measure, whatever, the actual time frame you have in order to execute it is A, very small, so you have to play it really fast, and also B, it has a weird cadence. It has a weird, I mean, it's not weird, but it has a very specific rhythm on how you should play it. You cannot just run through the whole thing like a maniac and expect it to sound well, because it won't. Chances are it won't fit, and also if it does fit, it won't really fall on the right places where it needs to. So what I would advise you to do, because I can't really guide you through all of it, you have to use your ear eventually, but what I did for myself, except for putting that thing in the loop and just playing it over and over till I figured out the right timing. When you go into the bend, that thing comes right after it, and it sort of binds into it. So the space that you would normally have in your head, or at least in my head, the space that I'm normally allocated for the bend, sustain, and release only also includes that that little lick right there at the very end. And again, feel free to choose your method of picking, but in my opinion, like here, it's a good challenge. When I did that whole thing, for me, it's a good recommendation. Like do it alternate, starting with like an outside picking, and then you can switch if you want. But here, definitely do it with outside picking, because you need to go very fast between. So alright, so you have that small banana thing again, this time with your ring finger across 2 strings only, but it's just like in the sweep arpeggios, if you know the minor sweep. And obviously I cannot execute it right now. Yeah, I can't do it right now, but anyway, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's this roll right here. Yeah, so you go into, and then you kind of, just like I said that this thing has to combine with a bend, the following section kind of has to go down very fast, almost like in a unified sequence, and this means that you have right here you have a chromatic sequence. It's actually the blues variation for the pentatonic. And you kind of need to slur it a bit. You kind of need to go very fast in a legato type of fashion, almost like pulling everything off instead of just picking it. So and at the very end, again, this is like a separate section by itself in terms of how the rhythm goes. And again, you have that banana position, because you go from, so you go from this quick bend with pull off into alright, so again, together, the whole thing is alright, so just make sure you kind of divide the whole thing into like 3 parts. The band with the lick at the end in kind of like one chunk. Then the second chunk is the downwards pattern with the chromatic run. Kind of slurring it a bit just to kind of teleport yourself across as quickly as possible, and then you slow it down at the very last lick, and you really mark those accents, right? So and here you probably could employ the bar and pull it upwards. What I like to do is also what Scotty does, which means going sort of like sliding in and then continuing that illusion of going upwards from a sliding technique into a bending technique, so that once you slide in, kind of like out of nowhere, into the 11th fret on the G string, you continue bending upwards just slightly towards the otherwise 12th fret in terms of the note, right? So you do a half step bend. And not only this, but you want to kind of shake it just a little bit with a small vibrato at the very end. So it's not just, you can do it like this, it sounds very good, but if you pay attention to the original, it's not like this. It kind of has this a little bit of nuanced voluntary uncertainty, if you will. It's kind of teasing you a bit. Like, where am I going? Am I going up, down? Will I release it? Will I continue bending? It's kind of cool. So after this whole thing with this vibrato right here, or vibrato, depends how you like to call it, you then bend down and release. So, and now you go here on the 4th fret of the G string, and you go into the following lick. What the? Again, I need to do it like, sorry. Okay, so here you have hammer on, and here you either want to hammer on from out of nowhere again, hammer on from nowhere, or you can just pick it, right? So or right, so it's kind of like a revolving lick. And I don't know if you notice why I cannot play anymore, because I spent my whole day recording billions of takes for the cover. If you haven't checked the cover, I will fucking kill you. Go check the cover right now, okay? Yeah, so after doing this this whole thing with, when you land here, you wanna bend it upwards for a whole step. So you're looking for that tone right there. And then make sure you develop that strength into your wonderful, middle finger for bending, because again, guys from Skid Row, they do this a lot, and it's everywhere. Like you're seeing already in this solo, you had it twice, I think, or maybe more. In 18 in Life, you have and I think here again. No. Yeah, here. Yeah, anyway. It's not 18 in Life, because I'm already starting to forget that thing. I need to refresh my memory soon and start playing those solos again. But I hope you understood. Thing for this is and like I said in the beginning, the reason why I'm doing this lesson, although there is the official lesson from Scotty himself, is just, with these minor hints and tips that I like to give you, and sort of explaining how it was done in the original, how he does it right now, how he does it live, or whatever. And the very last section is probably the biggest in terms of differences on how it's on the original, how it is in his lesson when he first demonstrates it, and then how it is in the lesson when he actually explains it, because that's another thing that we humans do, and it's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes he plays it differently, and differently, and then he shows it to you another way. He plays it differently from the way he's actually playing, which is again different from the way he used to play it back in the day. And it's very normal. I do the same, although I don't have amazing songs, but I do the same when I'm teaching. Like, I remember one thing theoretically, but muscle memory says otherwise, or I'm just in a mood to do things differently that day. And all artists do this, Richie Sambora and everyone else, because again, they probably get bored of playing the same thing over and over again, like on the record. The public expects you to do it, but you as an artist kind of get bored with it, right? So this very last section, in my opinion, sounds different on the original from the way he plays it in the intro of his lesson. And if you pay attention to the intro of his lesson versus how he teaches you, again, there's another big difference right there. So the notes themselves are pretty simple. It's just right, but he does these with a bar dip. With a bar dip. And the thing is that in the explanation, he kind of gives like the simple explanation, probably for people to be able to do it no matter what level they're at. So he kind of goes into this sort of thing, mainly playing the notes and attacking them with a slide in or whatever. But on the beginning of the lesson, where he plays it differently. He does these bar dips. And it's advisable to dip the bar and then attack the note either with the pick or with a hammer on, and then release the bar back to normal tension. So it's here it's it didn't sound very good. I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you how he does it. So again, here it's kind of like a pre-dipping of the bar and then releasing it back to the normal pitch so that you actually hear the 12th fret. And you can plug in a pinch harmonic if you want to. If not, you can experiment. You can just tap this natural harmonic right here, or if you want, you can go way higher on the 5th fret. You can do a lot of things. Play the open note lower, playing it here, on the fret itself, giving it a pinch harmonic. like I said, going into natural harmonics, all combined with the bar dip, you have a lot of choices for a lot of squeals, right? So I'm just trying to tell you that you can do it in a lot of ways. Whatever way you choose, it's up to you. But my advice is don't stick with something that's very boring just because you can't do something more interesting. Challenge yourself as to be able to do them. Right, so after this thing right here on the 12th fret, then you have something on the 7th fret, which again, what I said on the 12th fret applies for all of the others. I won't say all that gibberish. I won't go through it again. Here, you go on the 7th fret, and then at the 5th fret normally, and descending into the 4th fret. What I like to do actually is go on the 4th fret itself, and I think this is what he does on the record. On the live demonstration from his lesson, he goes like on this 3rd or maybe even 2nd point something harmonic, or maybe he even goes, although his hand reflex is to go here and tap the harmonic, maybe he even goes and does something that I did on my cover, which is fool your ear, and after the initial attack with after this thing, which obviously you can see I'm not going, or I'm also not dipping it. Here I choose to do an actual bend, again with your middle finger, the happy one. And I apply a pinch harmonic. Again, I think this is what he does on the actual record. I don't think he is plucking any harmonic. It definitely sounds a little bit bent right there. But anywho, this is what I do. And when the time comes from the final accent, instead of playing it again here, I actually make use of my theory. It's not even theory, but it's like the basics of the basics. Because when you're going from the G string to the B string, unlike the other jumps on the guitar, you're no longer going in steps of fourths. You're going in a major third right here. I know that this one is this one on the B string, open B string. And the thing is that I like the B string a lot more because it rings out a lot more. It has a lot more treble due to the nature of the string itself. Right, so right, this is kind of like what I'm doing. I'm first playing the lick on the G string with the pinch harmonics, and towards the end I actually pinch. I pinch and I play the open B string. Gives it a much more colorful vibe. He might do this, he might not do this. I don't know. Again, 3 different sounds, at least on his side. The original on the record, the demonstration before the lesson itself. You can clearly see he's not doing the same things, but probably it was for your convenience to have a simpler version, a lot easier to digest. And again, then I have my own preference, which is like the 4th, and I welcome you to have the 5th, 6th, 10th, whatever. But yeah, this is kind of it. I will not go through the whole solo again because it's already like 45 minutes in, and you're probably waiting for me to pass out, or you want to choke me to death or something. But let me know what you thought of it. If you liked it, if you felt like it was useful, if I wasted 45 minutes of your time when you could have just watched Scotty Hills. which again is an amazing lesson. I also used it as pretty much the reference for everything, with the exception of those little small things that I thought were not record accurate. But obviously, anything that comes from him is accurate because he's the man. So he wrote the solo and he played it, so he's entitled to do whatever the fuck he wants to do with it. So yeah, I just wanted to give you my 2 cents over the whole thing, and let me know what you thought about it. And if you have any questions, any blocking points, or whatever, if you want to like it, if you want to dislike it, make sure you express your anger and do it twice. So hit that dislike button twice. Subscribe, unsubscribe, leave hate comments, or as I most recently am struggling with, feel free to leave your spam comments with sexy nude online chats, whatever. It helps my engagement on YouTube, not my actual engagement in my personal life, but you get my point. Gets the nice traffic in, although it's spam, and I'll make sure to delete it so that none of you simps out there get a chance to get some weird viruses on your computer because you're seeing sexy, nude, free online girls in the comments with very shady links. Alright, enough of this. Thanks for stopping by, and until next time, like Zoin's kid, I think he did it again.